家好，我是 Stella，
我是 Warren。我们今天要为您念的是练习手册第214课。我不是一具身体，我是自由的，因我仍是上主所创造的我。Lesson 214. I am not a body. I am free, for I am still as God created me. 让我们先来唱吧。
我不是一具身体，我是自由的，因我乃是上主所创造的我。I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me.
194，我把未来交到上主的手中。194 I place the future in the hands of God. 过去的已经过去了，未来的尚未来到。The past is gone, the future is not yet. 此刻我已不受过去与未来的束缚了。Now am I freed from both. 因为上主的恩赐只会使人获益。For what God gives can only be for good. 我也只愿接受他的恩赐，因那原本就属于我所有。And I accept but what he gives as what belongs to me. 我不是一具身体 I am not a body. 我是自由的 I am free. 因我仍是上主所创造的我。For I am still as God created me.
以下是 J 兄的释义。You are blessed beings indeed. 你确实是有福之人。I am that one that you know as Jesus, and this is the source of most of your upset, regrets, and recriminations over the past, guilt, shame, perhaps, and worries and anxieties about the future. 我是你所知的 JC， 你们大部分的烦恼之根源，就是对过去的懊悔和指责，它可能使你感到内疚和羞耻，还有就是对未来的担忧和焦虑。You are living in a fictitious world when you are thinking about the past or the future. So, if you are not present with what you are doing, you are not really doing anything. 当你想着过去或是未来时，你便是活在一个虚构的世界。因此，如果你没有专注于当下你正在做的事，你实际上并没有在做任何事。You are wasting your time because you are reliving or projecting. Those are the two fantasy worlds that a lot of you live in most of the time. 你是在浪费自己的时间，因为你不是在重温，就是在投射。这是大部分的人多数时间活在其中的两个幻想世界。So, when we talk about presence, that is what we are seeking. We are seeking presence because that is the only true point of creation, new creation. 因此，当我们谈及当下这个观念时，表示那是我们所要寻找的目标。我们正在寻找当下，因为当下乃是唯一真实的创造时点，产生全新的创造。If you are ruminating over the past, you are contaminating that eternal now with the past, and you will create a future that looks like your past, 如果你一直反刍过去，你便是用过去污染了永恒的现在，因此你会创造一个类似过去的未来。So if you have a resentment, let's say, or you have an abuse or trauma that you keep thinking about, you now are saying to the universe, I want more of that. 比如说，你心怀怨尤，或是你曾受过虐待，或有过创伤，而你不断想着那件事，你这样做等于是在对宇宙说，我要更多那样的经验。Your eternal now, that moment, that fresh moment that you are get equally is being contaminated through the use of your free will and inappropriate use of your memory. 你永恒的现在，也就是你们都同样拥有的这个全新时刻，正受到污染，因为你透过你的自由意志以及不当的使用你的记忆。It is contaminating this eternal now, 而污染永恒的现在。Now those of you that suffer from PTSD or traumas do not realize that you are doing this voluntarily. You do not realize it has become such a habit, or either telling the story, or ruminating on what happened to you, or revisiting the situation from the past, that you do not realize that you have fed your own trauma. 问题是有着创伤后症候群的人，或是有过心理创伤的人，他们并不明白自己心甘情愿的污染当下。你没有发现这已经成了一种惯性，你不断述说着那些故事，反复想着发生在自己身上的事，或是不断回顾过去的情况，但你没有发现你因这样做而喂养了自己的创伤。Now, you are not blaming the victim here. You are saying a bad thing did happen to you, but it only happened to you once. And if you continue to think about it, tell stories about it, talk to people about it, go to the therapist about it, you are re-traumatizing yourself infinitely and making sure that your future will be a like vibration. 然而我们在此不是要责怪受害者，我们要说的是，虽然不好的事情确实发生在你身上，但那件事只发生一次。如果你不断去想它，不断讲述那件事的故事，不断告诉人们那件事，不断告诉治疗师那件事，你便是无止境的在重复伤害自己，并确保你的未来会是相同的振动频率。And so what you must do is hand over the future to God and say, I will be here in the present, trusting that as long as I am in alignment with love, everything will work out fine. Because you are love, God, and I am in alignment with your will for me. When I am in a place of love, it is very simple. 因此你必须做的是把未来交到上主的手中，并且说，我会活在当下，并怀着信赖，只要我对准了爱，一切都会进展顺利。因为上主你就是爱，而我一旦活在爱中，我便是符合你对我的旨意，这是非常简单的道理。So presence is not some esoteric, rare quality that monks have. It is something that you should all strive for. Use your sense to keep you in the present moment. 所以说，专注于当下并不是僧侣才拥有的某种深奥而罕见的特质，而是你们都应努力的方向，运用你的感官来专注于当下一刻。Look at what you're looking at. Taste what you're tasting. Feel what you're feeling. And know that endless rumination on the past and the future really is a waste of time. 注视你正在观看之物，品尝你正在品尝之物，感受你正在感觉之物，并且知道无止境的反复思考过去和未来其实是在浪费时间。I am that one that you know as Jesus, and I will speak to you again tomorrow. 我是你所知的 JC， 我们明天再续。
让我们再来唱一次吧。
我把未来交到上主的手中。I place the future in the hands of God. 我把未来交到上主的手中。I place the future in the hands of God. 我不是一具身体，我是自由的，因我乃是上主所创造的我。I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me.
练习手册第214课，我不是一具身体，我是自由的，因我仍是上主所创造的我。Lesson 214 I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. 194我把未来交到上主的手中。194 I place the future in the hands of God. 奇迹正文第19章，平安之境 Chapter 19 The Attainment of Peace.
第3节罪的不真实性 3. The unreality of sin. 只有在罪里头，你才看得到旧的美丽，错误则缺乏这种吸引力。The attraction of guilt is found in sin, not error. 正因旧的美丽，罪才会周而复始，不断重现。Sin will be repeated because of this attraction. 你会因为对罪的极度恐惧而不让罪公然露面。Fear can become so acute that the sin is denied the acting out. 然而，只要罪疚的魅力存在一天，心灵就深受其苦，更难摆脱罪的观念。But while the guilt remains attractive, the mind will suffer and not let go of the idea of sin. 因为就会不断吸引罪前来，心灵随时听到他的呼唤，渴望他的来临，自甘屈服于他病态的魅力之下。For guilt still calls to it, and the mind hears it and yearns for it, making itself a willing captive to its sick appeal. 罪属于无法修正的一种邪恶，这正是它的罪疚永恒魅力。Sin is an idea of evil that cannot be corrected and yet will be forever desirable. 在小我心目中，罪是构成你之为你的基本要素，因为你才会对它如此恋恋不舍。As an essential part of what the ego thinks you are, you will always want it. 唯有不受罪所控制的那位降服，因于人间的判官，才能用恐怖手段帮你扑灭这种罪恶感。And only an avenger with a mind unlike your own could stamp it out through fear. 小我绝不会相信罪，真正渴望的是爱，而非恐惧。爱也一直都在答复他的祈求。The ego does not think it possible that love, not fear, is really called upon by sin, and always answers. 小我会把罪 带到恐惧前，要求惩罚。For the ego brings sin to fear, demanding punishments. 然而，惩罚只是保护罪疚的另一种手法而已，因为该受惩罚的表示确有其事。Yet, punishment is but another form of guilt protection. For what is deserving punishment must have been really done. 惩罚一向是罪，最有效的护身符，它的罪绝不会掉以轻心，甚至万般推崇罪的严重性。Punishment is always the great preserver of sin, treating it with respect and honoring its enormity. 凡是必须惩罚的，表示它必是真的。What must be punished must be true. 凡是真实的，必是永恒的，且会永无止境的循环下去。And what is true must be eternal and will be repeated endlessly. 因为只要你认为是真的东西，必会想尽办法得到它，而且绝不轻言放弃。For what you think is real you want, and will not let it go. 反之，错误者没有这种魅力。An error, on the other hand, is not attractive. 只要你看清了只是一个错误，自然会想要修正它。What you see clearly as a mistake, you want corrected. 至于罪，则会一再重演，即使令人饱受痛苦，罪的魅力始终不减。Sometimes a thing can be repeated over and over with obviously distressing results, but without the loss of its appeal. 一旦把罪降格为一种错误 and suddenly you change its status from a sin to a mistake, 就不会旧戏重演了，你会当下打住，放弃呢老戏码，除非醉酒依然在你心里作祟。Now you will not repeat it. You will merely stop and let it go, unless the guilt remains. 果真如此，你就设法改换罪的外形，即使承认那是一个错误，你也无意修正过来。For then you will but change the form of sin, granting that it was an error, but keeping it uncorrectable. 这表示你对罪的看法并未真正改变，因为只有罪才会要求惩罚，错误则不至如此。This is not really a change in your perception, for it is sin that calls for punishment, not error. 圣灵不可能惩罚任何罪恶的。The Holy Spirit cannot punish sin. 他只认得错误，且按照上主委托他的方式逐一修正。Mistakes he recognizes and would correct them all as God entrusted him to do. 他不知道罪，也不认得任何修正不了的错误。But sin he knows not, nor can he recognize mistakes that cannot be corrected. 因为无法修正的错误，对他是一种不可理喻的观念。For a mistake that cannot be corrected is meaningless to him. 犯错只是为了修正，此外别无其他目的。Mistakes are for correction, and they call for nothing else. 凡是寻求惩罚的心声，绝不会如愿以偿的。What calls for punishment must call for nothing. 每一个错误其实都是向爱求助。Even mistake must be a call for love. 那么罪又是什么 ？What then is sin? 它不过是你存心隐藏 的错误而已，是你不想要别人听见，也不真想得到答复的求助之声。What could it be but a mistake you would keep hidden, a call for help that you would keep unheard and thus unanswered？ 在时空领域里，圣灵很清楚地看到上主之子是可能犯错的。In time, the Holy Spirit clearly sees the Son of God can make mistakes. 只有在这一世上，你和圣灵英雄所见略同。On this, you share his vision. 只有你没有他洞察时间与永恒之别的本事。Yet, you do not share his recognition of the difference between time and eternity. 待你完成修正的功课以后，时间变成了永恒。And when correction is completed, time is eternity. 圣灵会教你不同的时间观念，越过时空的限制去看一切，但关键在于你得放下错的信念。The Holy Spirit can teach you how to look on time differently and see beyond it, but not while you believe in sin. 你只能把它当成一种错误，如此心灵才能予以修正。In error, yes, for this can be corrected by the mind. 但是罪却属于一种信念，要你相信自己所见的景象不可能改变，心灵便不得不把罪所教你的那一套当真。But sin is the belief that your perception is unchangeable, and that the mind must accept as true what it is told through it. 心灵若不听信他那一套，反而会被认为神智失常。If it does not obey, the mind is judged insane. 于是，原本足以改变之见的唯一能力，顿时感到郁症乏力。于是，心灵害怕无所不能的圣使会改造自己的知见，索性把那能力转交给身体使用。The only power that could change perception is thus kept impotent, held to the body by the fear of changed perception which its teacher, who is one with it, would bring. 当你忍不住想要承认罪的真实性之际，请记住这点：如果罪是真的，上主和你就不可能是真的。When you are tempted to believe that sin is real, remember this: if sin is real, both God and you are not. 创造属于一种自我延伸并向外推恩的能力，不造物主不能不将自己延伸出去，而他推恩出来的这一部分也不可能和另一部分有所不同。If creation is extension, the Creator must have extended himself, and it is impossible that what is part of him is totally unlike the rest. 罪如果真的存在，等于上主跟自己起了内讧。If sin is real, God must be at war with himself. 他必分裂成善与恶两部分，一部分清明正常，一部分疯狂失常。He must be split and torn between good and evil, partly sane and partially insane. 这又映射出上主必已造出一个企图毁灭，且也有能力毁灭上主自己之物。For he must have created what wills to destroy him, and has the power to do so. 承认自己仅仅误解了一切，难道不比你相信上述说辞还来得容易吗 Is it not easier to believe that you have been mistaken than to believe in this? 你若相信自己和弟兄的真相都陷于这一具身体内，你不可能不相信罪的。While you believe that your reality or your brother's is bounded by a body, you will believe in sin. 你若相信身体真有结合的能力，你会感受到罪疚的吸引，而且相信罪的可贵。While you believe that bodies can unite, you will find guilt attractive and believe that sin is precious. 你一旦相信身体限制得了心灵，这一信念会让你在世上处处看到分裂的证据。For the belief that bodies limit mind leads to a perception of the world in which the proof of separation seems to be everywhere. 上主与他的造化好似分道扬镳，各行其事，他们的国度也好似整个被你推翻了。And God and His creation seem to be split apart and overthrown. 罪不是为了向你证明上主的神圣造化，不仅抵制不了罪，而且在罪的淫威之下自身难保。For sin would prove what God created holy could not prevail against it, nor remain itself before the power of sin. 罪显得比上主还伟大，连上主都不能不俯首称臣，将自己的造化拱手让给这位霸主。Sin is perceived as mightier than God, before which God himself must bow and offer his creation to its conqueror. 这种信念究竟是谦虚还是疯狂？ Is this humility or madness? 如果罪真的存在，你就永无疗愈的指望了。If sin is real, it must forever be beyond the hope of healing. 正因那映射出上主之外，还有一股更大的势力，而且别有企图，足以达到上主的旨意，给圣旨另一个与上主不同，甚至高于上主的旨意。For there would be a power beyond God's, capable of making another will that could attack his will and overcome it, and give his son a will apart from his, and stronger. 上主的造化便如此分裂了，各怀鬼胎，不止与他的旨意抗衡，彼此也永远处于对立状态。And each part of God's fragmented creation would have a different will opposed to his, and in eternal opposition to him and to each other. 如今你的神圣关系有了另一目的，就是为你证实绝对没有上述那种事情。Your holy relationship has as its purpose now the goal of proving this is impossible. 天堂会以微笑相迎，罪的信念就在爱的微笑中烟消云散了。Heaven has smiled upon it, and the belief in sin has been uprooted in its smile of love. 但你仍会看见罪的终极，因你尚不明白罪的根基早已撤除了。You see it still because you do not realize that its foundation has gone. 它的源头一旦撤除，罪就最多只会在你身边徘徊片刻便消失踪影。Its source has been removed, and so it can be cherished but a little while before it vanishes. 然而，你仍可能习惯的不时 探寻它的踪迹。Only the habit of looking for it still remains. 只是你如今看它时，嘴角会带着天堂的微笑，眼中只会看到天堂的祝福。And yet you look with heaven's smile upon your lips and heaven's blessing on your sight. 你的眼光不会老在最上徘徊。You will not see sin long. 当罪的踪影一现，心灵会用心之剑来修正罪，便消失了踪影。For in the new perception, the mind corrects it when it seems to be seen, and it becomes invisible. 你会越来越快认出错误，也会越来越快扭转过来，这才算是疗愈，而非隐藏起来。Errors are quickly recognized and quickly given to correction, to be healed, not hidden. 只要你不再赋予罪控制你弟兄的能力，你就在那一刻获得了疗愈，不受罪的怒焰所苦。You will be healed of sin and all its ravages the instant that you give it no power over your brother. 为此，你会乐此不疲地帮弟兄克服种种错误，让他有罪的信念脱身。And you will help him overcome mistakes by joyously releasing him from the belief in sin. 在神圣一刻中，你会看见天堂的微笑映照在你与弟兄的脸上。In the holy instant, you will see the smile of heaven shining on both you and your brother. 你同时照亮了他，而且欣然接受他为你带来的天恩。And you will shine upon him in glad acknowledgement of the grace that has been given you. 因罪抵制不了那在天堂微笑下蒙受祝福的合一境界。For sin will not prevail against a union heaven has smiled upon. 你的知见便在天堂赐予你的神圣一刻获得了疗愈。Your perception was healed in the holy instant heaven gave you. 忘却你以前看到的一切吧，抬起双眼，怀着信心去看眼前之物。Forget what you have seen, and raise your eyes in faith to what you now can see. 遮蔽天堂的障碍，便会在你神圣的眼光下知难而退。以前总是视而不见的你，终于悉获慧见，看清了真相。The barriers to heaven will disappear before your holy sight, for you who were sightless have been given vision, and you can see. 别再回头去找你已清除的障碍了，春兰照眼与天堂为你展现的荣耀吧。Look not for what has been removed, but for the glory that has been restored for you to see. 仰望你那神圣的救世主吧，你会看到他在你弟兄身上显示给你的一切，切莫让罪死灰复燃而遮蔽了你的眼睛。Look upon your Redeemer and behold what he would show you in your brother, and let not sin arise against to blind your eyes. 因罪存心要你与弟兄分裂下去，你的救世主却请你视弟兄如己。For sin would keep you separate from him, but your Redeemer would have you look upon your brother as yourself. 你的人际关系如今已成了疗愈的圣所，所有劳苦困顿的人得以安息于你内。Your relationship is now a temple of healing, a place where all the weary ones can come and rest. 这个安息之所，等待所有风尘仆仆的浪子归来。Here is the rest that waits for all. After the journey, 所有的人都会因着与你的关系而越来越靠近这安息之地 and it is brought nearer to all by your relationship.
奇迹正文第19章，平安之境 Chapter 19 The Attainment of Peace
第3节罪的不真实性 3. The unreality of sin.
愿大家有一个生命充满的一天。阿们，我爱你哦。